Introduction. My name is Virginia. My birthday was last week, and now I am 40 years old. I own a small shop in a quiet part of the city. My shop sells vintage clothes. These are beautiful clothes from a long time ago. The street outside my shop is not busy. Inside, it is always very calm. Sometimes, the only sound is the old clock on the wall. I spend all my days here alone. I clean the old dresses and arrange the colorful hats on their stands. I like my work, but my life feels very small. People visit my shop every day. They walk around and look at the silk scarves and the long wool coats. They touch the soft fabrics. Sometimes they buy a pretty dress or a nice hat, but they do not really look at me. I feel like I am part of the shop, like a wooden table or a dusty mirror on the wall. I feel invisible. My life is quiet and gray, like the color of dust in the corners. I do not think I will find romance again. I believe that part of my life is finished. To help me feel invisible, I wear very big sweaters. They are usually brown or gray. They are not bright colors. These large clothes hide my body. I do not want people to see my shape. I want to hide from the world. When I wear my big sweaters, I feel safe and protected. It is like having a small house around me all the time. No one can see the real me. It feels much easier this way. Then, one afternoon, something different happened. The front door of my shop is very old. It is made of heavy, dark wood. At the end of the day, I tried to close it. I pushed it, but it made a loud, cracking noise. The door was broken. It was stuck. I could not close it at all. The door stayed wide open. This was a very big problem. I could not leave my shop open all night. I felt very worried. I did not know what to do. I am not good at fixing things. I knew I needed help. I could not fix this heavy door by myself. I looked for a phone number for a repair service. I found one and called them. I explained my problem to the woman on the phone. I said, "My front door is broken. It will not close." The woman was nice. She said they would send someone to help me soon. I had to sit and wait. I do not like waiting, and I do not like new people in my shop. But I had no choice. The door needed a repairman. A young man walked through the open entrance. He was very tall and carried a heavy bag full of tools. His hair was blonde and messy, falling over his forehead. He wore a simple white t-shirt that was covered in a little sawdust. He looked around the quiet shop, and then his eyes found me. His eyes were a very bright blue, like the summer sky. Most people look away quickly when they see me, but he did not. He held my gaze and smiled. It was a warm and friendly smile. He saw the small name tag on my big sweater. "Hello, Virginia," he said. His voice was deep and happy, and it filled the silent room. I felt surprised that he used my name. I just nodded because I did not know what to say. His name was Alex, and he was the repairman. He started to work on the broken door immediately. I watched him as he worked. His hands were strong and sure as he used his tools. He was very skilled. In a short time, the heavy wooden door was working perfectly again. It closed with a soft click. "It is all fixed now," he said. I was ready to pay him for his time, but he did not get his tools to leave. Instead, he put his bag on the floor and started to walk around my little shop. He moved slowly, looking at everything with real interest. I watched him quietly. It was strange to have someone so young and full of life in my dusty, silent store. He was very different from my usual customers. He stopped at a rack of old silk dresses from the 1920s. He touched the soft, delicate fabric very gently with his big, strong hands. He seemed to understand and appreciate the old material. He looked at the colors and the old designs with a careful eye. He picked up a small hat with a feather on it and smiled. "You have a beautiful eye for these things," he said, turning to face me. "It takes a special person to see the beauty in old things." His words were a complete surprise. No one had ever said something so personal to me about my work or my shop. Then he looked straight into my eyes again. His blue eyes were very direct and kind. I felt my face become hot. My cheeks were suddenly red, like a young girl's. For the first time in many years, I did not feel invisible or gray. I felt like someone was really seeing me. I felt like a nervous schoolgirl, not a shop owner who was 40 years old. I stood there, unable to move, and did not know what to say. He just continued to smile that warm smile at me. 3, coffee and talk. After that first day, Alex started to visit my shop. He came every afternoon at around 3 o'clock when the sun was soft. He always carried 2 paper cups of coffee. One was for him and one was for me. He smiled when he gave me my cup, and his blue eyes were very bright. We did not need to say much at first. We just sat on 2 old wooden chairs near the big shop window. We watched the people walk by on the quiet street. It became our special time of day. The shop was usually empty in the afternoon. It was nice to have his company. His visits made the long, gray afternoons feel much brighter. We started to talk more with each visit. I learned about his life and his work. He was a carpenter, and he loved his job very much. He explained that he did not work with new materials. He liked to use old wood for his furniture. He found beautiful wood from old houses or even old boats. He told me that old wood had a story inside it. "New wood is boring," he said one afternoon, holding his warm cup. "It has no past, but old wood is different. You can see its life. It has marks and lines and interesting colors. It is strong because it has a history." I understood exactly what he meant. It was like the vintage clothes in my shop. Each dress and each coat had a past. Each one had a secret story. Alex saw the beauty in old things just like me. He often watched me while I worked. One day, I was sewing a small, shiny button on a blue silk dress. I could feel his eyes on me. It was not an uncomfortable feeling. It was a warm and gentle feeling. Most people looked past me. They saw the shop, the clothes, but they did not really see me. Or if they looked at me, they only saw a 40-year-old woman. They saw my big gray sweater and my simple hair. Alex looked at me differently. He watched my hands as I worked carefully with the needle and thread. He looked at my face when I smiled at something he said. He saw Virginia. He did not just see a number. He finished his coffee and put the empty cup on a small table. "Virginia," he said. His voice was soft and serious. "Can I ask you a personal question?" I stopped sewing and looked up at him. "Yes, of course," I said, a little nervous. He looked at my big, shapeless sweater. "Why do you always wear these big clothes?" he asked directly. "They hide you." His question was a surprise. My heart started to beat very, very fast. No one had ever asked me that. No one had ever noticed me enough to ask. I did not know what to say. My face felt hot. It was a strange mix of feelings. I was scared by his question, but I was also excited. For the first time in many years, someone wanted to see the real me. It felt dangerous, but it also felt wonderful. The heavy rain. One Tuesday evening, the sky turned dark gray. Alex was finishing his coffee when the rain started. It was not normal rain. It was loud and heavy. Water hit the big shop window very hard. Soon, the street outside was like a river. It was a big storm. We could not hear anything except the sound of the rain. Alex looked outside. "I cannot go home in this," he said. "It is too strong." I agreed. We were trapped inside the shop together. We turned off the main lights and sat on two old chairs near the window. It was dark, but the streetlights made soft shadows on the walls. We watched the rain fall for a long time without speaking. The shop was quiet and warm. In the silence, my mind became loud. I started to worry. I looked at Alex. He was young and full of life. He was only 24 years old. I was 40. There were 16 years between us. What were we doing? I thought about my neighbors. They watched everything on our quiet street. What would they say if they saw us here, alone in the dark? They would talk. They would say I was a foolish old woman. The thought made my stomach feel cold. I moved a little away from him. Alex noticed. He turned his head and looked at me. His blue eyes were serious in the dim light. "What are you thinking about?" he asked softly. I did not want to tell him. It was embarrassing. But he knew. "You are thinking about numbers again," he said. He stood up and walked to my chair. He stood very close to me. I could feel the warmth from his body. "I can hear your brain thinking too loud, Virginia. Stop worrying." He took my hand. His hand was big and rough from his work, but his touch was very gentle. My hand felt small and safe inside his. I looked down at our hands. "Don't look at the calendar," he whispered. His voice was low and deep. "Look at me." I slowly lifted my head. I looked into his eyes. He was not looking at the lines on my face or the gray in my hair. He was looking at me, the real person inside. I saw something strong in his eyes. He did not see an older woman. He just saw me, Virginia. 5, a special moment. The air in the dark shop was thick and quiet. The only sound was the rain hitting the large front window. Alex was still standing very close to me. I could feel the warmth from his body. Then he moved slowly. He lifted his hand and placed it on my waist. It was a gentle touch, but it felt like electricity. I stopped breathing for a moment. My mind went completely empty. His hand was large and a little rough from his work, but his touch was soft. It rested on the thick fabric of my sweater, the sweater I used to hide myself. I had to speak. I had to tell him this was a mistake. My brain started working again. "Alex," I began, and my voice was just a small sound. "This is not right. I am old enough to be your—" I could not finish the sentence. The idea was too strange. "I am 40 years old," I said instead. The number felt heavy and ugly in the air between us. I was telling him the truth. I was trying to push him away with my words. I wanted him to see the big difference between us. He did not move his hand away. He just looked down at me. His blue eyes were serious in the dark room. He shook his head, a very small and slow movement. "You are not old, Virginia," he whispered. His voice was low and soft. "You are just right." He said the words with so much confidence. He believed them. Before I could think of another protest, he leaned down. His face was very close now. I could see the small drops of rain on his blonde hair. My heart was beating so fast. It was a loud drum inside my chest. And then he kissed me. It was not like the kisses I remembered from a long time ago. Those were quick and nervous. This kiss was different. It was slow and deep. It was full of feeling. His lips were soft and warm. At first, I was scared. But then I felt myself relax. My knees felt weak, like they could not hold me. I put my hands on his wide shoulders to keep my balance. I held onto him. As we kissed, the world outside disappeared. The loud sound of the storm on the glass faded away until it was silent. The only thing I could hear was the sound of our breathing. A fire started deep inside my stomach. It was a warm feeling that spread through my whole body. It was a feeling of life and of being wanted. I had not felt this way in more than 10 years. For a decade, I had felt like a ghost. I moved through my life without anyone really seeing me. I was gray and dusty, like the old things in my shop. But in this long, special kiss, I was not a ghost anymore. I was a real woman with a body that was warm and alive. I was Virginia. This one moment, this one kiss, changed everything between us. It was more than a kiss. It was a promise of something new. 6. The long night. After our kiss, the world outside did not matter. The rain was still falling, making a soft sound on the roof. We were in our own quiet world inside the old shop. Alex took my hand. His hand was strong and warm. He led me up the wooden stairs to my small apartment. This was my private space, and I never brought visitors here. When we entered my living room, I suddenly felt very shy. My apartment was simple, with old furniture and many books. I worried it was not nice enough, but then a bigger fear came into my mind. I was 40 years old. My body was not young and perfect. My skin had lines from many years of smiling and worrying. I had small, pale scars from accidents in my life. I was not a perfect woman from a magazine. In the dark, I felt safe and hidden, but in the light, I felt very scared. I walked to the bedroom and moved my hand to turn off the small lamp next to my bed. I wanted the room to be completely dark. "No, please," Alex said softly from the doorway. "Leave it on. I want to see you, Virginia." His voice was gentle and warm. I stopped. My hand was shaking a little. I was afraid of what he would see. I was afraid he would be disappointed and leave. He came to me and held my face in his big, rough hands. He looked at me with so much kindness in his bright blue eyes. He did not see an old woman, he saw me. He kissed the small lines next to my eyes. "These are beautiful," he whispered against my skin. "They show you have lived a real life. They show you have laughed." We spent the long night together. It was not rushed. It was slow and very gentle. He touched my skin like it was something very special and rare, like precious gold. We did not sleep much. Instead, we lay in bed and talked for hours. I told him about my quiet life in the shop. He told me about his dreams of building beautiful things with old wood. He held me close, and for the first time in many years, I felt completely safe. Lying next to him in the warm light, I started to understand something very important. My age was not a wall between us. For Alex, my history was interesting. The lines on my skin were like a map of my life. He wanted to read that map. He wanted to know my whole story. That night, I learned that my past did not make me old or ugly. It made me who I was, and he thought that person was beautiful. 7. The next day. The sun was bright the next morning. It came through the window of my small apartment. For a moment, I felt happy and warm. I looked at Alex sleeping next to me, and I smiled. But then, a cold feeling started in my stomach. The night was a beautiful secret, but the day was real. The world was outside my door. My fear returned. I put on my old robe and went downstairs to open the shop. Alex came down a few minutes later. He was smiling, and his blue eyes were bright. He kissed my cheek. "Good morning," he said. His voice was happy. I wanted to feel happy too, but I was worried. What would people say? What would my friends think? Just then, the shop bell rang. It was my best friend, Sarah. She always came early on Tuesdays for coffee. My heart stopped. She saw Alex standing in my shop. His hair was messy from sleep. Sarah's mouth opened. Her eyes were wide with shock. She looked from Alex to me and then back to Alex. She could not believe what she was seeing. Alex said a quiet goodbye and walked to the door. When he was gone, Sarah exploded. "Virginia, are you crazy?" she shouted. Her voice was loud and angry. "What are you doing? He is a child. He is younger than my own son." Her words hit me like stones. "This is a scandal. Everyone on this street will talk about you. They will laugh at you." I started to cry. The shame was deep and hot. Sarah was right. I was a foolish old woman. What was I thinking? Alex came back inside because he forgot his jacket. I looked at him and all my fear turned into anger. "You need to go," I told him. "Just go away." "Virginia, what are you saying?" he asked. His face was confused. "Sarah is right," I cried. "This is wrong. I am embarrassed. People are staring at us." Alex looked at me and he was not sad. He was angry. "Let them stare," he said. His voice was strong. "They are staring because you look happy. You are glowing." He came closer to me. "Don't listen to her. Don't go back to being invisible, Virginia. Please do not put your old mask back on." But I was too scared. I could not listen. I opened the door and pushed him outside. "Go," I shouted. I closed the door and locked it. I leaned against the cold wood. I was alone in my quiet, gray shop again. The beautiful fire from the night was gone. Only the dust was left. 8. A good life. For 3 days I stayed in my shop. I did not open it. The beautiful clothes looked sad and gray. My apartment upstairs felt large and quiet. I was very lonely. The silence was loud. I thought about Alex and his bright blue eyes. I thought about his warm hands. My friend Sarah called me many times, but I did not answer the phone. Her words were still in my head, but my heart felt different. My heart missed Alex. The shop was cold without him. I was cold without him. On the 4th day, I looked in the mirror. I saw a sad, 40-year-old woman. She was hiding again. She was afraid of other people's words. I realized that this was not a good life. Living for my neighbors or for Sarah made me unhappy. Their opinions did not keep me warm at night. Their words did not make me smile. Only Alex did that. I did not want to be invisible again. I wanted to feel alive. I needed to see him. I put on my coat and left the shop. I ran through the streets. I did not know his address, but I knew his workshop was near the old market. I found it easily. It was a small building with large windows. I could smell the fresh wood from the street. I looked inside and saw him. He was working on a big wooden table. He moved with strength and focus. He did not see me at first. I opened the door slowly. The noise of his tool stopped. He looked up. His face was surprised. I walked towards him. I was not afraid anymore. "I was wrong," I said. My voice was shaking a little. I do not care about the numbers. I do not care what people say. I only care about you. A slow smile appeared on his face. He put down his tool. He came to me and put his arms around me. We hugged for a long time. It felt like coming home. 2 months later, we got married. It was a small wedding with only a few friends. Some people in the town talked about us. They whispered about our age, but I did not care. When I walk down the street now, I hold my husband's hand. I walk with my head high. I am not a ghost in a dusty shop. I am Virginia. I am loved and I am happy.